Hey everybody. Yes, I am looking pretty down right now, and I have this setting. I figured it's probably the most appropriate, being that this is. I don't know how many of you have watched um, the documentary Quiet on the Set just yet. As someone who grew up during the 90s, I, as I know most of you probably know, um, we watched these kids grow up and we enjoyed them very much. I know that, whenever I would come home from school, I would always look forward to, all that. And, um, I remember Pete and Pete, um, Ren and Stimpy, of course, things like, all these shows, Legends of the Hidden Temple, all of that stuff. Um, but it took me 2 days to actually get through the whole documentary. And that's because finding out what I did, it breaks my heart. It does. It breaks my heart. I am 38 going on 39 years old, and I have a 15-year-old daughter. I could not imagine 1 minute of a possibility of someone hurting my child while they were trying to do something they love. And not only that, having other adults around who may have gotten an inkling that something was going on and still did nothing. I'm sorry, but in my opinion, if I was working in that place back then, a child's safety is worth more than the job. I would have said something. Knowing what I've seen now with that documentary, I wish that for all of you kids, Drake Bell, Amanda Bynes, Brandy, all of you, all of you, I wish I could turn back the clock for you guys. Because you were just babies, you know? And you just wanted to do something you loved. You were in an industry that, was mostly, for adults, and for a kid to be successful in that kind of an environment, and to have people look at you and treat you, with, you know, it does a lot to your self-esteem that, all these adults are taking you seriously, and, you're living the dream. And then, without warning, someone just swoops in and they turn something that you love, going to work and being with your friends, and they turn it from a dream to a nightmare. It really does. It breaks my heart seeing all of that. And in particular, what made me sick, and what actually made my mother sick too, because we saw something for one of the episodes today, um, and it shook my mother to her core and had her very disappointed. Um, with regards to Drake Bell and him putting, them finally putting that fucking asshole Brian Peck up on trial and everything. The fact that no one but his mother and his brother were on his side of the courtroom, and that monster had not just people in the courtroom for, supporting him and everything. The fact that this guy had people writing letters in support, and this is where I'm going to be name dropping now, because you assholes, amongst some of those individuals supporting that mistake of a human being, some of them actually are as follows. James Marsden, how fucking dare you? How dare you? And just to put a cherry on the cake, I'm Team Noah all the way. Quote from the Notebook. And also, Logan is much better than Cyclops. At least, if Jean Grey would have, gone off on Wolverine, at least he couldn't die. You make me sick. Absolutely sick. But not, and this is what really did it for me today. Ryder Strong, Will Friedle, also known as Sean Hunter, and Eric Matthews. You have no idea. When I saw your names pop up on that screen as two of these monstrosities that actually showed support for a child molester, I felt it. I felt just right in my heart. I know that there's more individuals that wrote for this thing that you call a human being. Another one that was a heartbreaking thing to see. Get ready for growing pains being ruined for you. Because Alan Thicke and the woman who played his wife, they also were amongst the individuals that put out letters in support of this man. I don't understand how these individuals can look at themselves in the mirror with all of that. And you know what? They can probably say all they want that they were pressured into writing the letters and everything. Like, if you want to continue getting work, then you need to, do this for him. How could you sell your soul? How could you sell your souls? Drake deserved better than that. The man got 16 months. Sentenced 16 months. Only. All I can tell you this much, and right now I don't even care about how this sounds to anybody, but I think there's probably going to be a lot of people that are in agreement with me on this. Um, Knowing what I know now from watching that documentary and hearing about what these kids went through and everything, and hearing about, I mean, for Christ's sake, the guy was in correspondence with John Wayne Gacy. He had a pen pal relationship with a notorious killer and pedophile. Knowing what I know now, I wish that I could get in a time machine, go back to when this guy was sentenced, and wherever they sent him for his little uh, I'm gonna just call it a sick leave, because that's not even a sentence to me. 16 months is not a sentence. That's sick leave. Okay. Um I wish someone would have put the word out, because I think we all know what happens when word gets out in a prison setting amongst inmates, when they hear that someone has just been put in and the reason why they're there is because they hurt a child. That's what I would really call poetic justice at its best. I honestly couldn't believe that even in the beginning of the documentary that they actually said in there, if you grew up during the 90s and you loved watching Nickelodeon, be prepared, because this is about to ruin your childhood. They're right. They were right. I will say this though. Um I'm glad that, Drake's doing a lot of great things with his music. I know he's probably in Mexico somewhere, um, just doing his thing. And, he got help, and I'm happy for that. Other individuals, that started out as child stars, a lot of them, sometimes they're not so lucky. But you get the occasional success story. We have Drew Barrymore, who, she was a wild one, but she really made something of herself, and she overcame all of that. And one very recently that I also became aware of, Lindsay Lohan, Girl, you're a fucking miracle. You are a miracle. And now you're a mom. And you've never looked better. And I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. And I'm so proud of you. I've never gotten this emotional on a camera before. So, um, but yeah. James Marsden, you are forever banned from my TV. You are banned from my TV. You are banned from my phone. Wilfredo, I'm sorry, but the Feeney call has officially become now a call of death. Right or strong, I don't even know what to say. Other than I'm ashamed of you. And to think, I always rooted for Sean Hunter. I always rooted for Sean Hunter. I always said to myself, if I ever had another kid, or, if I wound up adopting, there are a lot of Sean Hunters out there. And I would have loved nothing than to give one a home. But knowing that you did this, you have tainted that character in my eyes. I grew up watching all of you. And I never thought in a million years that I would actually say the words, I'm ashamed of you. There's a lot of things that, celebrities can do that leave a sour taste in your mouth. They get addicted to drugs. They become, alcoholics. They act out. And then they come back from that and they get rehab, and then they make a comeback. And so you get, like Robert Downey Jr. I mean, for Christ's sake, he at one point, I believe he got so intoxicated that he wound up waking up in someone else's house. But then he got himself back on top again, and we forgave him for all those antics and everything. There are certain things that you could forgive. But supporting a obvious pedophile and not a fellow actor who was robbed of innocence, there's no coming back from that. There's no coming back. Anyways, I really wanted to just, scream and yell, really, at all yous. But I have a feeling that's just not going to do it. So, for all of you that were in that documentary that spoke up, I'm very happy that you did. And I know that a lot of it probably wasn't easy to talk about, especially the adults who were those babies. My heart aches for you. And as a mother, my heart is ripped open for all your parents that had to deal with the repercussions of how it affected all of you. I can't imagine how many of them were thinking, this is, how did I let this happen to my baby? How did I not see this? How did I not have the courage to stand up? I definitely felt it for Drake's dad. Again, I just hope that everybody, that was a part of the documentary, that, I'm hoping that all of you have, better things going on for you. And again, a lot of people, they would sink to deep end and stay there. But all of you, you're warriors. You braved it through that storm. And you guys came out the other side. And, statute of limitations may have run out for most of you, for a lot of you. But these assholes can't hide anymore. That's your justice. There's no more hiding. And now you guys have taken that mask off of the industry and the individuals that were behind it, that allowed it to go on. And hopefully, because of this, there's going to be a lot more eyes open and ears open to what needs to be there, and that is protection. Anyways. Oh, I didn't think it was gonna. I don't look that bad. I don't look that bad. Um. Anyways, I know it's probably 1 in 10 million chances that anyone that I've tagged in this, well, the post that I put up on Instagram stating that I was going to be doing this tonight, I did tag Drake Bell, so I know there's 1 in 10 million chances of him probably, even looking at this or even, catching it. But in the off chance that he has, I know you're not in the United States right now. You're away from the US. It doesn't change the fact that you have a lot of people behind you. Anyone who saw that documentary, they are, and who lived and who grew up during the 90s and everything, I am betting you that they're just as pissed for you. They're just as sad for you. They're just as hurt for you. So, oh, Paul, how are you? I'm gonna wave at you. And so, yeah, Paul, I don't know if you saw I was just talking about Quiet on the Set. I don't know if you've seen it, but hold on, actually. I'm gonna see if I can. Ah, come on. Anyways, um, but yeah, I don't know if you saw the documentary. Yeah, it is. It is messed up because you were a '90s baby and everything. Um, you loved all those shows and everything. I mean, it really did. I mean, I honestly cannot. Again, I cannot believe that they actually put in the first episode of the freaking documentary. If you grew up during the 90s and you watched Nickelodeon, be prepared because this is going to ruin your childhood. And the fact that they had to put that disclaimer in there, it really was like, oh God, what have I walked into? And it took me 2 days, dude. It took me 2 days to actually like finish the thing because the more I heard, the more I had to just pause it, cry for 10 minutes, and then put it back on again. And it was crazy, absolutely insane. And we were kids. We didn't know anything about the innuendos or anything like that. And now as a grown up, it's like, what the hell? That's almost like us listening to that's like me and my sisters listening to freaking like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and some of these other, boy bands and really listening to some of the lyrics. And it's like, oh my God, how did my parents allow us to listen to this? You know, it's like, oh my God, like as an adult and as a parent, it's like, yeah, exactly. He got out and he wound up getting another job with kids. And it's like, no, it's absolutely insane. And I can't, it's really, it's not, there's no excuse for it. There really isn't. There's no excuse for it whatsoever. And, it's, there's just no excuse. And the fact that, you have the father and the mother from freaking Growing Pains as two of the individuals that wrote support letters for the guy that assaulted Drake Bell and God knows how many other kids. Again, you had no. Oh no. Phone book had no. No, they weren't. No, it's just I was saying how some of their songs, like you listen back to it now as an adult and as a parent, and it's like, oh my god, like there's innuendos in there, like you wouldn't believe, and so it's like, damn, these guys were nasty, but the tunes were catchy and everything. No, and NSYNC wasn't. They weren't pedos. No, if that was the case, then I probably would not even be. I would then be yelling, but they're not. No. No. What I'm talking about is the documentary Quiet on the Set, and you know these were, yeah, there was a lot, but it was done in a way where it was acceptable and it was a catchy tune and everything. Yeah, exactly, Paul. Exactly. So many people. He's saying, my friend Paulie K85. So many people wrote letters supporting that guy. Makes you wonder about all those rumors you hear about Hollywood. Yep. Yep. I mean, it's crazy because I mean, I never, and that's another thing. When it comes down to things like that, I never in a million years would ever think that Kevin Spacey would be, accused of something, but he was. And yeah, Amanda Bynes, yep, she was one of them, and we don't know what happened to her. Um, I know that she had gotten herself into a lot of trouble you know, with the law, and you know, where is the Epstein list? Uh, Lord knows where that is. I don't know where that's at, but it's very well hidden, probably. It's very well hidden. And if they did something like this with regards to Nickelodeon, my my brain immediately went to what's been going on with Disney, because that's another one. You have Disney, who at one point was in like really big competition with Nickelodeon. It's kind of like Paul. It's kind of like Nickelodeon versus Disney. It was kind of like WWE versus WCW. And you have, yeah, exactly. Disney was always sus. Um, it's just a real shame. It's a shame because you have all these kids that they want to be famous. They want to go to Hollywood. They want to, be in the movies. They want to, be on a show with someone who they highly, look up to. And Drake Bell actually did say in one part of the documentary that it's like, you have all this pressure to be, a good role model and everything, and kids look up to you, and with everything that happened to him, it's like, I don't know how to be a role model. How could I be a role model? How could anyone? Later, Paul. Thank you for stopping by. Um, but yeah, it's like, how can you expect a kid, this guy, to be a role model when individuals who are supposed to be, um, individuals who are supposed to be taking care of these kids and making sure that, they're doing their studies while they're working as well, so that way they can still have an education. These are people that were supposed to be there to take care of them. you know not replacing the parent, but while they were working, they were supposed to make sure that nothing happened to them, that they worked in a safe environment, and they did not do that. There was no protection of these kids. And how can you expect someone who worked in that type of environment for so long, how do you expect them to know how to be a good role model? Yeah, it's true. A lot of messed up people out there, and somehow, these guys, they manage to get themselves into these places. They somehow manage to con their way in and avoid detection. And they actually said that one of the reasons why this guy, Brian Peck, was not, there were no red flags, because he was not registered. He had not been caught. Yeah, that too, fish. Phone book. That too. It really makes you wonder who else. It really does. It makes you wonder who else was a victim of this guy, of I think there were three individuals that they mentioned in the documentary that were hurting these kids. And like, again, a giant red flag, and I don't know how. I mean, back then, I guess, one of the guys mentioned when he was, in his when he was in his early teens, he was at this guy Brian's house, and while he had all these rooms, themed out, there was a painting of a clown holding a balloon, and it happened to be signed on the back from John Wayne Gacy. And apparently this guy had letter. From what the guy said, he had a stack of letters like this on his nightstand from this guy. My question goes to the parents. Obviously this guy was in the news, right? This guy was in the news, and it was made aware of what this guy did. John Wayne Gacy. I mean, he's very notorious and a part of history. So, as a parent, when you're at a party and the individual who was supposed to be helping your child succeed in the world of acting and everything, you see that he's corresponding with a notorious murderer and pedophile. How
is it that no flags and alarm bells go off in your head? That's my question. That's my question for you. How in your good conscience not have anything go off in your head? Like no goosebumps or anything like, whoa, something's not right. Why is this guy even talking to this individual? Like the only person I think that has even remotely an excuse was freaking um that kid Moss. Um he had a correspondence with Gacy, but it was for a college psych paper, and he went off to write a book and everything. But unfortunately, he wound up ending his life. Uh, but yeah, like that guy's correspondence with Gacy was strictly for a psych paper. This guy was corresponding with him out of sheer enjoyment and having and nurturing a pen pal relationship with the man. That no no normal human being would do that, would go into something like that. And the fact that he still wound up finding work around kids goes to show how much the justice system is a joke. The man got it. I read that he had gotten 16 months. See, it made my eye twitch just even thinking about that. 16 months. That's it. That's it. And he had 40. Apparently, they said I think he had 40 letters of support written and given to the judge when it came down to his trial, when he was charged with what he did to Drake Bell. And again, a few of those individuals from the 40 were James Marsden, Alan Thicke. I forget the name of the woman who played his wife on Growing Pains, but her as well. Boy Meets World, Ryder Strong, who played Sean Hunter, and Will Friedle, who played Eric Matthews. And that's just 5 individuals that I recognized from the letters that were given to the judge in support of a pedophile. There's no excuse. There's no excuse whatsoever. And as I said, even if these individuals were pressured into writing those things for him, Alan Thicke should have thought, what if that was my son? Imagine if that had happened to Robin. What would you have done? If anything, I'm probably betting that if if God forbid that had happened to Robin or any of his children, and he found out that there were individuals who he knew that wrote in support of their attacker, he probably would have gone off. At least I'm hoping. I know he's no longer with us anymore, and you really can't. Most people will say it's not fair. You can't, say that stuff about him or anything because he's not here to defend himself or anything. But let's call it what it is. Let's just call it what it is. To every single adult that wrote in for this monster, what would you have done if that was your child? Would you have sat there and let all these individuals support a monster just so you can keep your job? Hey, Biff. I don't know if you saw Quiet on the Set. I don't know, Biff. I don't know if you saw Quiet on the Set, but actually, let me try to get you on here. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Let me try to get you on here. Are you? Try requesting me to go live with you, because I want your take on this. I really want you to have but anyways, that's something that really that was something that I know was definitely in my head at that point. And I would also like go off on co-stars and everything, like why weren't you there to be behind him? Why wouldn't you support him? But then you have to think, he was just a kid. All of them were kids. And I'm betting you anything that they wanted to be there for him. They wanted to be there for Drake. But they were all scared shitless about repercussions, about going against the higher ups. And I'm betting anything that as adults now, and with this documentary out there now, I wouldn't be surprised if, some individuals wound up getting a hold of Drake and apologized for not actually being there, but really wishing that they could go back and just be there. Again, though, they were all just kids, and I can't imagine how scared they were. They were living their own Law and Order SVU episode, except it was an episode that just was not ending until they were told to leave, which unfortunately is what happens in Hollywood. If you grow up, then you're no longer of use to them. So, you know, I'm just I'm just glad that they got the opportunity to speak out and do it without fear of any backlash from anyone. And I have no doubt that after this thing got out, that everyone that watched those shows growing up, I wouldn't be surprised if there were other people like myself sitting and trying to get through that whole thing and not shed a single tear. I know I couldn't do it. I tried on Friday to watch everything and I couldn't. After a while, I just couldn't. I found myself stopping at least, I think, 3 times to just, I paused it and I cried because of how much my heart hurt. That something that I had been endorsing for many years, who, was made for kids by kids, which really was not the case. An adult was, pulling the strings and everything, but it was something that still, like, my parents had their shows that they liked to watch and everything, and it was good to know that after I got out of school, I had something to look forward to after my long day of being bullied and everything. So, that was Nickelodeon was my safe haven during that point. And to find out now that all the smiles, oh my God, it was pretty much all a lie. It was a lie. Anyways, for those of you who did tune in, I appreciate it very much. I will be saving this, and most likely I'll wind up putting it up on YouTube if it permits me. If anything, I'll probably just repost this as well as a regular post thing. But for those of you who watched, I very much appreciate it. And whenever you get the chance to, jot down the names. If you've watched the documentary, I'm urging everybody who has seen this thing. I know I've done it. I know I've done this. I've done it today, actually. I jotted down the names of the individuals that spoke. And if they have any type of social media account or anything like that, I urge you to do this, okay? This is something that I'm asking every single one of you to do. Um, Try to find a couple of them and just tell them how proud of them you are. And make them aware that they have someone who's got their back. And that what happened to them is not okay. And that they're a hero for speaking out. And they may have regrets about not speaking out earlier, but they were just a scared kid. And they didn't feel they had any choice. So just try to find them and let them know how much you appreciate their bravery for what they did in speaking out in this thing. Because Lord knows it wasn't easy for them to do it. Dredging up all of this stuff. I mean, I know there's a few of them had stated that they were in therapy and everything, and dredging stuff like this up could not have been easy for them. And for all those kids out there who were part of, the Nickelodeon industry and everything, and we don't hear about them, the one person that comes to mind is Amanda Bynes. I don't know what become of her, but I just hope she's okay wherever she is and whatever she's doing. I hope she's okay, as okay as she can be. Again, Drake Bell, continue with your music, dude, because you have a gift, and it was dark for a while, but you're lighting up, and that's good to see. So, everybody, good night.